Hi there, good morning everyone. Apologize in advance for noise like that. That's a passing motorbike. I'm actually working out of one of my favorite cafes in the city of Medellin, Colombia, and having a little latte as I make this video. The purpose of this video is basically to explain a little further what I mean by bracketing. In the first section of the post, I talk about gearing up for success and using the right tools. And I mentioned that if you're going to get a camera, you should look for one that has this thing called auto bracketing or exposure bracketing, the exposure bracketing function. And I mentioned that this exposure bracketing will allow you to take 3 photos of the same scene at different exposures. Now, just to show you what that means, I'll flip over to Bridge. This is the balanced photo when my exposure is more or less balanced. What auto bracketing does is allows me to take 2 more photos, or in the case of the camera that I use, it allows me to take 5, but in this case I just use two more photos. This is the underexposed photo, and this is the overexposed photo. So it gives me a bracket of 3, a balanced, an under, and an over. Now, how I go about using this is I use it in post production. So when I'm going to go edit this photo. So let's flip over to Photoshop quickly. So here's the first photo, the balanced photo. But the thing is, in the balanced photo, there's a bit of detail that's been lost in this in the lights here and over here. Now, what I would do is to bring those details back in is I would use the underexposed photo. Oops, don't know what happened there. Here's the underexposed photo, and as you can see, if you compare the lights here and the lights here, there's more details in the lights in the underexposed photo, and more details, a little more details of the outside through this door in the underexposed photo. And for example, there's lighting on the wall here that gets blown out in this photo. Now, one of the things that I mentioned was trying to use the sun to your advantage. I took these particular photos at about 1 o'clock in the afternoon, which is not ideal by any means, but it was the only chance that I had to take the photo. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the underexposed photo and drag it as a layer into my regular, my balanced photo. If you notice, it's darker on top. So what I do is I create quickly a layer mask. And by the way, I'm not going to go into too many details about what's a layer mask. I'm just assuming that you guys have used Photoshop. And I'll fill this layer with black mask, and then I begin to paint back in any details that I want. So here where the light bulbs and this little mesh thing is, I'll paint back some details, and then you begin to notice the change. And what I'll do, just quick version, is to paint in this area. I tend to select this tool, this quick selection tool, and let it just sort of highlight the area I want to fill in, and then I paint it in. Alright, so there we see, I'll show you quickly the change in lighting. Alright, and I can, for example, paint this area in also to give a bit more detail. Now, if I don't want that to be at its full darkness or full level, I can turn down the opacity of my brush and slowly brush in just a bit. So you can see the change in the photo. Now, the other thing that I can do is, for example, if these changes are too extreme and I wanted it to be a little less extreme, I can change the opacity of the entire layer. So this is with 0 opacity, and there, as I increase it, you can see the lights beginning to come in more detail. And so that's how I use the 3 layers to create the 3 different exposures to create one image with better lighting. Follow the next video to see how I straighten vertical lines.